Okay, hello everybody, and welcome back to this channel. My name's Kim Chamberlain, and this is on behalf of the Facebook group Channeling Development and Spiritual Growth. And I have the wonderful pleasure of being able to interview experienced channelers. And today we are welcoming Shona Hayles, who lives not far from me in Kapiti in New Zealand. Welcome, Shona. It's really good to have you here.
That's great. Thank you, Kim. It's going to be fun, I think.
I think it is. All right, let's start off. Tell us a bit about yourself. Who are you and what are you about?
Well, I'm still discovering that, Kim. And actually, spiritualism's helped me to do that. I was a late starter, although for all my life I've known there was something that was missing. And about 26 years ago, I had some contact with people who were in the spiritualist movement. And things happened, they quietly happened from there, and I began. And it's been a journey of that time, and it's still going. One of the things I love about it is there's so much to learn, so much more to do. You step in a little bit, and then you move on, and you discover something new. And mostly it's about yourself, what you're
Yes,
doing, and how you bring that out to help other people.
true.
So it's
Yeah.
yeah, I think a voyage of self-discovery is probably encapsulates what I would say.
Oh, that's a really nice way to describe it. Thank you for that.
Mm.
All right, channeling. Tell us about the channeling that you do.
Another question. It's tricky to answer because when I started off, it's a long time ago, of course, and we kind of were a bit slower in our work then, and it took a lot of time. And healing was my first introduction to channeling energy
Oh,
as such, because the energy of healing is just a different aspect of channeling. And so that's where I started and felt really comfortable with that. And gradually, as I've opened up over the years, it's become more for helping other people. I very much feel that's where I am at. Being on, I don't have a particular form of channeling. I've just learned to develop it myself, or it's worked with me. My guides have worked with me. And I just trust that I'm given what I need for each individual group or people. So I work at churches, I work at events, and I run groups here. So yeah, that's kind of, I don't know whether that answers your question, but that's yeah.
yeah, because channeling can come in many forms, and there isn't our way to channel or the way to channel or the thing to channel. It's whatever I believe that you've been put here to do, and you're doing a whole range of things with your channeling. So from a practical point of view, if you're going to be doing some channeling of any form, how do you get yourself to be ready to do that?
Yeah, that has developed as well over the years because just to start with, it wasn't so clear. And so what I've developed is a quiet settling in time. So if whatever I'm going to do, I give myself some time beforehand. And if I'm driving to an event, I will not meditate, because you can't meditate when you're driving, but I have found a wonderful method of doing that by using light language. And that was quite a challenge for me as well to start. But now I use the light language because I don't know what's being said, but it opens up my whole energy field, and
Oh,
it opens up all of my connections to spirit. And so I find that I speak much clearly. My connections are there when I go in to do the work. It's settled. So I always use light language now. But before that, I used to listen to music on my radio, my car radio, a piece of music that I loved listening to, and it's just brought it to mind now. And it took me into that same kind of space. So I think people can find different ways to do this. It's got to be something that brings you into a calm space, because you want to get your mind to sit to one side. You want to be aware, allowing the information to come through rather than trying to force it. So it's keep making yourself a clear space, I guess, to allow the guides to work.
That's a very interesting way to describe it. I hadn't really thought about music, but it makes so much sense if it takes you to that space where you can start channeling.
Yes, yeah. I
Yes.
mean, I guess people could use a meditation as well if they had some sort of meditation on their, like a quiet something on their phone or something that they could play while they were driving. Because often we
Mm,
do drive to places. We can't always be in a place just to in your home space. So
mm.
often it's getting to a place and then you go and work. So that pre-preparation is really important, I find.
That's true. So for those people who are not familiar with light language, can you explain what it is?
It's becoming more and more brought to the forward at the moment, and it's our basic language, if you like, our original language. It's more vibrational. It is we use words for it, but it's a vibrational, and I find when I'm using it in my groups here, I will let the light language come through, and everyone will say, "Oh gosh, that sounded Egyptian. Oh, that sounded Polynesian. Oh, that sounded Chinese. They each take it in quite differently. And so, and of course, I don't get that. It comes out. So it's a language of vibration, but it's kind of source language. I call it source language
Mhm.
because our brain cannot attach to the words, and it's a feeling that comes through. It's the energy that comes through. And I can remember my first reaction when I first heard it. I had shivers running down my spine. It was such a strong connection. And I've heard other people say similar things, that their reaction the first time they hear it. So that it's real. It's not just, it sounds like gobbledygook. And I say to people when they're starting, if you want to start, just let it go in the car, just go and don't listen and don't worry about it. And you'll open up your connections to it. So it's fun. It's fun. Yeah.
Yeah. The message that I got from my guides about light language is that whereas human language, we say something and more or less everybody gets the same meaning. But with
Mm,
light language, it could be people get very individual messages
very
because
much.
it's not for the head, is it? It's
No.
for the soul.
For the
Yeah.
soul, exactly. And I think that's why people hear different things. Like you say, they hear a different kind of
Yes.
language, so it's interesting. Yeah, good. Yeah, yeah.
So for those people who are starting out on their channeling journey, have you got any words of advice for them?
Yes, I was thinking about that because it's been a while. So I would say the first most important thing is to find a teacher. Find a teacher or find a group that you totally, excuse me, that you can totally trust, because trust is really important to let yourself open up to channeling, to different spiritual work. You need to trust the group that you're with, because once you open up, you need to trust them to be non-judgmental, to be totally supportive. So for me, that's the most important thing. And if you've ever got any questions about the group or the person that's teaching, then go somewhere else. Trust
Mm.
is learning to trust yourself and your own instinct. But most people they know when it's the right place and the right, because you feel like I did when I walked into that group the first time. I felt, oh, I'm home. That
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
home. I've
Yes.
been searching for this and now I'm home. So I think that's a really good self-awareness, and everybody has this. So just trusting that self. That's the first thing I would say. The second thing I would say is when you're starting out, make sure when you're working that you actually look after your physical body, because your physical body is changing with the energies that are changing, the channels that are opening up. You need your physical body to be in good condition. So as much as you can, look after your physical body as well. And a lot of people just think, well, it's the mind, but, or the energies, but it's a combination. We are in this physical form, and we need to look after it to make the whole work together for whatever we're using it for, the spiritual step forward. The other thing that I was thinking that really I'm aware of often, and I've been aware of it myself, of course, when you start off, it's about, you recognize it's self-development, because you need to understand yourself. Because that, if you're blocking off things, it stops those connections coming through. So a lot of I feel, and what I the process I went through was self-development as much as spiritual development and working as a medium. And one of the things, the challenges that comes up for every single person in any form like this is ego. And that ego, oh yes, I can do it, and it's me, but actually no, it with hand in hand with that ego needs to go a real respect of the guides, a respect of what we're doing and what we've been given, and a real, just an appreciation of the opportunity that's been given to us. And I feel that sort of honouring that kind of aspect of it is really important, that we can let go ourselves. As much as we let go our mind, we let go our personal ego. And so we are in that space, an open space, and it changes how we see life, and it's softer. And I think that's really important to work through.
Oh, that's very interesting. It changes how we see life. It does. You don't always recognize that as you're going along the path. I guess if you look back to how you looked at life before and how you look at life now, it is really quite different.
Yeah.
It is different. And it certainly gives me a kind of sense of peace that we have support and that things ultimately are okay.
Yeah, I just love being a part of the spiritual movement. I have a good group around me. I attend a group as well as leading groups. That's important, but I just love it. And there's so much more coming through. And I'm definitely a glass half full person. So I just love the opportunities, and I'm really enthusiastic about the new things that come forward. But I would say, as a warning to people, don't. There's an old Chinese proverb that I've heard occasionally, and it says, you can't catch two rabbits. So don't spread yourself too thin. Don't try this, that, and everything else, because it confuses things. So kind of one thing at a time, and just what feels right. And it's not to not experiment and not to not investigate, but just be mindful of what really works for you, because not everything is you this time, And I
That's
think
true.
yeah.
Yeah. It's a bit like going into a sweet shop, isn't it, when you enter spirituality, because there's so many aspects that you could follow. And
Yeah.
you've got to find what's your bit out of all of this, what's your bit,
Yeah.
and follow that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it changes because you start with one. Like I said, I started with healing, and I thought, yes, this is me for life, yes, but no, my guides had a completely different aspect
Oh,
of that.
wow.
So it's still there, of course, but it's not the principal focus that I've got now. It's
No.
really about teaching people. So yeah.
Oh, fair enough. Look, thank you, Shona. That has been very enlightening. Within a few minutes, you've covered an enormous array of knowledge and wisdom and information, and there's a lot there for people to take away. So thank you very much. And for those people who are watching, if you could like and subscribe to this channel, that would really help the algorithm and help these kind of videos to get out to other people. And if you would like to learn a bit more, please join us on the Facebook group, Channeling Development and Spiritual Growth. So thank you, Shona. It's been a great pleasure. It's
Thank you.
wonderful to hear your view on it all. Thank you.
Thank you.